there, I'm Carla and I'm the creator of Mindset and Mayhem, and just like you, I'm a busy mum. And so I'm going to have a little chat to you while I'm actually folding my washing. And that's okay, right? So if you're okay with that, let me teach you something. Let me get through some things that I need to get through, and let me try and be really brief and make the most of your time, because I know how precious that is to you, because I'm just like you. Okay, so EFT tapping. You've probably found some of my scripts and you've downloaded them and you've clicked on a little QR code and it's brought you here, right? And this is where I'm going to introduce you to EFT tapping and tell you how to squeeze the most out of the scripts that I've created. Now, the scripts that I've created are quite unique. And the reason why they're quite unique is that a lot of scripts that are around actually are other people's words and other people's interpretation of scenarios. And to a certain degree, that's my scripts as well. However, you have space to personalize them, and you have the space to personalize them in a way that brings the emotions into that energy system so that we can then edit them with the tapping. And so I've been really careful in the way that I formulate these scripts so that you can get the maximum out of them, and you can't just use it once and then it's done, right? You can bring them out and you can use them again for different flavors of the same emotion. And in my email series that is connected to your scripts, and check your email for that, I will explain that to you. But it's just too much information to give you all at once, so I've broken it up. Right, let's get straight into this. You'll be wanting to use these scripts, so let me run through the tapping points for you. There is a sequence of tapping points that is fairly generic to all the scripts. At the end of the script, I might change it, and sometimes, particularly if you're dealing with emotions such as anger or guilt or shame, I might add in another little tapping point that comes from my knowledge of TFT, which is a forerunner to emotional freedom technique. So the points I use are all meridian points that are in the system that are shown to work, and it mimics classic EFT and some of the extended knowledge that I know as well. Okay, so tapping points. When you are tapping and saying statements in different parts of the body. So this is the first tapping point. It's called the side of hand. It used to be called the karate chop point. You can tap with your fingers just along the edge of your hand, or you can tap two hands together. It's entirely up to you. And when you tap, you're putting pressure on those points so that you're stimulating them. However, it's not really going to cause bruising, okay? It's definitely not a light caress. So we always start on the side of hand. Then we move to the eyebrow point. Okay, now that's the base of the eyebrow. And you can do this with one finger, you can do this with two fingers, you can do this with three fingers, and I just kind of line them up. And then I go across. Outside of the eye, that's here, so it's a long orbital bone, and you'll find a little ridgy piece there. That's where it is. Under the eye. Now, under the eye isn't quite on the bone, it's just underneath, and this is a sinus drain. So if you have any kind of sinus thing going on, this is going to be very tender, and that's a way to tell you've got the point if it's a little bit tender. Then you've got under the nose. Perfect. Just that space there. You can tap across. Some people use the side of their hand. Chin. Once again, I've got my fingers lined up. Some people tap like this, and that's also okay. Now, you know, you can do both sides. The midline is always the midline. Then you've got your collarbones. You've got 2 points here. So that's where my collarbones come in. I want to go about 2 fingers below. Oh, that's useful. My skin changes color. So I want to go about 2 fingers below. And if I just tap around there, I can find a little tender spot. Okay, so about 2 fingers below the collarbone, a little bit in. So there's my collarbone. In, down. There it is. Oh, there it is. It's a little bit more tender, and I can do both sides as well. Okay, that's the collarbone. So it's actually under the collarbones. And then side body. Now, side body is in line with the nipple is when you're born, and it's, if you dissect the side of your body in half, it's right here. So it's right under here. And I like to put my fingers like this and tap around, and I can definitely feel it. Once again, it's a point. And so I've got both hands tapping, which you can do, and some women can actually reach across and do like a huggy tap like this as well, which is quite nice. So they're the main points. When we finish an EFT tap, I'm going to finish in one of 3 places. I'm going to finish on the side of the hand. I'm going to finish, I could finish here at the heart, because this is another meridian line, and there's a good reason for this. This is not classic EFT, but this is a point that a lot of practitioners use, and there's a very good reason for it. I am going to finish on the top of my head. So this is the top of the head point if you're doing classic EFT. However, I quite often get you to spread your fingers wide and to tap all over, because the head is absolutely loaded with meridian points. Oh, and there's a yawn. Now, when you tap, you're going to find that the body is going to release that energy, and it may release it in these ways. You might yawn, you might weep, you might burp, you might laugh, okay? You might off-gas in some way. Sometimes, particularly if something's really in your system and you're getting really worked up and you've really got that energy there, you might weep or you might cry. And if you do, just keep tapping through the sequence and just keep tapping while you're in that deep state of sadness. If you can't see the words, just tap through the points. You want to tap on each point about 6 to 8 times too, by the way. Generally what I do is I just tap till I've finished saying whatever statement it is, okay? And then I move on to the next point. So I'm generally tapping between 7 and 12 times on each point, sometimes longer. Sometimes if it feels really good and I'm having a rant, because in my scripts it will say insert a rant or insert a list, I might tap there for like 30 or 40 times, and that is perfectly fine, because sometimes I'm having a rant about something, it's coming up in my body, I'm editing it, okay? So it's all good. Now let me tell you about using a script, because if you're new to using a script, I'm just going to the bottom of my wash basket. If you're new to using a script, what you will actually find is that you'll be reading the script and you'll be putting in words. Now when you put in your own words, make them the first thing that you think of. Don't overthink it, just whatever comes first to the top of your head. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't really matter, to be quite honest, because your subconscious brain does not sometimes make sense, okay? It is just, what do you think first of all? What comes to the front of your mind? Quite often that is what is stuck in the system, right? Sometimes if you're tapping and you can't think of what to add, the process of actually like opening all the drawers in your head and trying to work out what you add in there is actually releasing stuff as well. So if you haven't got anything to say, don't be so alarmed. That's also okay. So when you're looking at a script, you'll have the script in front of you and you'll start tapping and you'll be reading it. And you'll start tapping here on the side of the hand and you'll be saying something like, even though I have a noisy crow in my backyard and it's really annoying me, I can love and accept myself. Okay, and you're staying on that topic. You're not going off into another aspect of it, like the fact that the crow woke me up in the backyard, this morning. I'm staying with this noisy crow that's coming in, it's making this noise while I'm recording. If this was in my script. Maybe I should make a script for this. I haven't got one. But anyway, I'm reading my script. Even though I have this crow and it's interrupting my recording and it just won't fly away and it's so loud, I can love and accept myself. Even though I have this noisy crow and it makes my recording so unprofessional, I can love and accept myself. This noisy crow that keeps disturbing me whenever I want to film, this crow in my backyard. Why does it have to be there and be so noisy? Why does my house have to be so sound non-proof? Why did the crow have to start up when I started filming? I can let go of this noisy crow, because not everything has to be perfect in this world. And I am enough as I am. I'm enough as I am, and I love and accept myself. So you're just going to pretend that that was in your script and that's how you tap. And that's what you do. And you can hear my voice, woo, it moves with the emotion. I really put my back into it, so to speak. And I emote through the tap, because when that feeling comes up, it actually is able to be cleared. And now I can hear the crow in the background that's outside, and I can't actually feel so annoyed and so much tension in my body. Okay, and I'm also okay to not be perfect, which is interesting because I've just been putting my washing as well. This is the second time I've recorded this, and I'm feeling a lot better recording my washing and speaking to you at the same time. So I hope this helps you to be able to use your EFT scripts. Please pull them out and use them when you want to. Go into my email series, as I said, and really have a look at how you can change them when you get that email. And just know that EFT can be used for a lot more things than what I've actually given you here. And I go into that with a foundation course that I actually teach. And I use my knowledge to make it really relevant to you and to give you shortcuts that will help you be able to use EFT efficiently and effectively every single time. And it's not by using someone else's script that has their words, it's by being able to personalize it. And that's what I've done in a little mini experience with these scripts for you. DM me on my Instagram or email me, and I would love to hear your feedback, and I would also welcome any questions that you have as well. On that note, go with ease, pull out those scripts, and ka kite.